Hello, welcome to the Indiana University Virtual Screening Room. My name is Elizabeth Rell, and I'm the lead house manager at IU Cinema. As always, we miss being with you all in person, but we are so happy to have you with us virtually, and we hope you and your loved ones are staying healthy and well. Before we begin, I would like to acknowledge and honor the Miami, Delaware, Potawatomi, and Shawnee people on whose ancestral homelands and resources Indiana University is built. On behalf of the entire IU Cinema team, I would like to thank you all for joining us for tonight's world premiere of Part 2 of IU 2020, a 4-year documentary project following the lives of students from IU Bloomington's bicentennial class, Part 1 of which was shown earlier this semester on November 13th. Tonight's event is presented in partnership with the IU Office of the Provost and Executive Vice President. We are honored to collaborate with them in sharing these student-centric stories and thank everyone involved with this project for their hard work in making it possible. We'd also like to extend a very special welcome to the Well House Society members joining us for tonight's program. Thank you for all you do to support Indiana University. To introduce the film, I would like to welcome Ethan Gill. Ethan began working for the Office of the Provost as a multimedia intern in 2015. He is the co-director and co-producer of the IU 2020 series and now runs the Office of the Provost's Multimedia Department. Ethan graduated from IU in 2018 with a Bachelor of Arts in Media Production and a minor in theater. Please welcome Ethan Gill.
Thank you so much, Elizabeth. And thank you to IU Cinema for hosting the second screen of IU 2020. Now, if you've ever experienced higher education, I want you to think back on your days as a first-year student. The nerves, the excitement, that hankering for Pizza X, the restlessness to meet people and find your classrooms. Then I want you to think back on who you were when you stepped away from college with your diploma. How'd you get there? What changed you into the individual that you are today? Well, the student interns at the Office of the Provost kept those thoughts in mind while recording these moments. To my knowledge, this experiment has never been tried in higher education specifically. If you're familiar with the movies Boyhood or the Up series, this is in a similar vein, but with IU 2020, you'll see the complete journey of 12 very different and very busy students. Each of the short stories is presented in 3 parts. Part 1 focuses on how each student adapted to and changed in college. Part 2 is about who they are and the relationships that they cultivated here. And Part 3, the final season, looks back at their full evolution into the young professionals that they've all become through their IU education. Tonight, we'll hear from 3 of them. We'll hear from Courtland Crenshaw from the School of Public Health, who dives deep into the brotherhood that he found here and gives us a brief history lesson on his family and their legacy at IU. We'll hear from Jayla French from the College of Arts and Sciences, who studied neuroscience, found an inclusive community of pre-med students, and continues to inspire women in tech and medical fields to pursue their dreams. And finally, Broderick Balsley, who dances through his 4 years in IU's Department of Theater, Drama, and Contemporary Dance, giving us an inside look on just what it takes to be a part of a close-knit department like them. Fun fact, Broderick was one of the first stories I was assigned to back in 2016 as a student intern, so it feels really great to get to share that journey. IU Bloomington Provost Lauren Robel said, "When I watch these films and see all these students' hopes, dreams, challenges, and opportunities come alive on screen, I'm inspired by the next generation of leaders. These students are clearly smart and motivated. They're also funny and resilient, and exemplars of the genuine impact of an undergraduate education at IU Bloomington. College is a time of growth, evolution, and figuring out who you are and where you fit into the world. And what a great opportunity it is for student filmmakers to immortalize that change on screen. I am so excited to share this journey with you and to hear from our 3 stars and a student filmmaker, Daiyawn Smith, in tonight's live Q&A. So thank you. Thank you for being a part of these student stories. Thank you to Jen Purick for envisioning such a beautiful project. for providing a platform for student stories and creativity. Thanks to Cadence Ba Chang for being the first director of this series who laid the groundwork of what was to come. Thanks to the 20, yes, I said 20 student interns who passed the baton from one another throughout the years and helped document this. Thanks to Hallie J., Steph Sloan, and Haley Semyon for helping complete this production. And thanks to the team at IU Cinema for being such a wonderful collaborator and very, very patient with me and my technical inquiries. A huge thank you to our student stars who invited us into their lives. You have no idea how important it is to share your stories with future students. And I am incredibly grateful for your willingness to be a part of this series. And lastly, thank you to Provost Lauren Robel for leading a campus that every day leaves a lasting impact on our students. Now, I'm going to pass the mic back to Elizabeth, who will guide us to the movies, but sit back, travel through time, and enjoy a series 4 years in the making, IU 2020. Thank you.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope you enjoyed IU 2020 Part 2, and I'm looking forward to this discussion and everyone's questions. We'll start first with a conversation between filmmakers Ethan Gill and Daiyawn Smith and featured students Courtland Crenshaw, Jayla French, and Broderick Balsley. About 20 minutes in, we'll begin answering audience questions. Please feel free to type questions into the Q&A box at any time, which you can reach by clicking on the Q&A button at the bottom of your screen. So let's welcome back Ethan Gill, who will then introduce the rest of our guests this evening. Over to you, Ethan.
Thank you so much, Elizabeth, and welcome back, everyone. What a show! That is an insane, awesome group of stories, and I am so proud of them all. And thank you so much for sticking around for tonight's discussion. I'm excited to introduce these people to you all, so I'm just going to get started so you can all meet them in our little rectangles. The first person on our panel is Courtland Crenshaw, who grew up on the east side of Indianapolis, was a star on the basketball court and valedictorian of his graduating class. Courtland is the type of person who can't not be doing something. Volunteering to help others in his local community, resurrecting old student organizations from scratch at the School of Public Health, and joining in to shout out historical chants from Alpha Kappa Psi. I'm glad but not surprised to say that Courtland graduated from IU in May 2020 and hopped right into a Master's of Science program in Recreation Administration right here at IU Bloomington, where he's now a teaching assistant alongside his roommate and close friend, who happened to sign up for a very similar program at IU. It's so great to have him logged in tonight. Next, we have Jayla French, who grew up in Fishers, Indiana. Jayla has always found ways to learn and excel through IU. She was an ambassador with IUB Women Rising, helped program and volunteer with her sorority, engaged and learned about other cultures through the Office of the Vice President for Diversity, Equity, and Multicultural Affairs, study abroad opportunities, multiple times, in fact. And I must say, she has a great taste in TV shows, as I've learned from conversations I've had with her on shoots. She's just about to complete her first semester pursuing a Master's of Science in Medical Science at IUPUI. And though we miss her down in Bloomington, we know that she's going to make a huge impact in the medical world. It's great to have her join us tonight. Our third panelist is Broderick Balsley, who came down to IU from the South Bend, Mishawaka area. Broderick has been a part of 8 main stage productions at IU and 1 production with student organization University Players. He's also graced the stages at Utah Festival Opera and Musical Theater, taking part in West Side Story, Newsies, and Mary Poppins. Local Bloomington residents might also recognize him from the Bloomington Playwrights Project, where he played the lead Frank in the show Front Page Flow. It's a mouthful, in 2017. I am certain that Broderick is going to take New York City by storm once the pandemic has subsided, as he's already auditioned for a production in fall 2019 near the end of that semester. I won't say which production that was, so you'll just have to let it go. It's so great to have you here tonight, Broderick. And finally, our student filmmaker perspective of the evening, Daiyawn Smith, who graduated from IU with a BA in telecommunications. Deon began his time at IU with his best foot forward through the group's scholars program. In the second semester of his sophomore year, he started his internship at the Office of the Provost, bringing a wealth of knowledge on DSLR camera, photography, and videography. But those weren't the only skills that Daiyawn perfected during his time at IU. Daiyawn's also a very passionate dancer, where his talent came alive through the Essence dance team at IU and on stages like IU auditoriums through the Potpourri of the Arts. Not a day goes by where Daiyawn isn't snapping photos or recording video. He recently had a documentary he produced on the Bloomington band Huckleberry Funk that was screened at a drive-in this August in Indianapolis. You can find more about his business, Day In, Day Out Productions LLC, through Instagram or on his website. Everyone, thank you so much for joining. Is my connection okay? I noticed I froze a bit. Okay, good deal. Thank you so much for being here. All right. So, initial thoughts right off the bat. How are we all feeling tonight after watching a summary of your 4 years? And I guess for Daiyawn, how does it feel to see this project actually completed? And we can go in order of appearance.
So I'll start off. I would say it was surreal. Seeing it, it was definitely fulfilling, satisfying as well. Seeing all three parts of the series come together. It was definitely it was different watching it in this screening environment as well, I'd say. Because before it's been kind of freehand just watching it.
So for me, my first reactions is, wow, do I really sound like that on film? Like, that is insane. It's just like hearing yourself talk on a voice recording. Like, I feel the same way watching myself in the video, but I'm super excited at how the project came together. I think all the, editors and everyone who was part of putting the film together did an amazing job. So it was really cool to see it all come together.
Yeah, I will say it's been so surreal. I feel like we started this like beast of a project so long ago, and to finally see it come to fruition at the end, it's just it's humbling. It's an amazing thing to be a part of, and I can't wait to show my grandchildren all my crazy hairstyles that y'all got to see through the 4 years in that video. But yeah. It's amazing, and I love being able to see my colleagues in my class. It's amazing how their stories were able to take place on the same campus, but be so different from my own. So it was a blessing to watch that.
Yeah, it was great to see everything just come together over time. Just all the hard work that was put on, like behind the scenes, just to get everything done and to organize it so that it actually tells like a story that everybody can like relate to. Because going to college as a freshman, then ending your like college years, is kind of like, it's a journey. So to actually get a little piece of that, to see it all comes together, it's amazing to see that, really.
That's great. And to note on the comment of showing family and grandkids, I have no idea what our digital formats will be in the future. So maybe we can save these stories on a digital contact or something, whatever the new technology is. So I can remember the first time that we were pitched this series. And Deon, you might remember it too, where the office set us up to meet some of the people with the Potpourri of the Arts performance. What did you initially expect? And this is for everyone. What did you initially expect when you were asked to be in a documentary? Did this meet expectations, or was there something about this whole series that surprised you?
That's honestly almost a tough question. I honestly didn't know what to expect. I was definitely shocked when I was approached and it was first pitched to me. I would say I more expected. I don't know. I just didn't expect to want, or for you all to want to actually follow me around that much. I thought my life was kind of boring beforehand. Well, now I don't know. I didn't think it was that interesting, but overall, I just didn't expect you all to really dedicate to following us around so much.
Yeah, I would say the project kind of exceeded my expectations. So when I first got the email asking me to be a part of it, and we had a meeting, there was like 12 of us. We were, I think, in the basement of the Provost building. And yes, yeah, I think we were in the basement of the Provost building. And so just seeing how the project has come into fruition over time and seeing how many people have been a part of it, I think I was beyond surprised and happy with how it turned out. Super grateful to have been a part of this, but it's definitely a lot bigger than what I ever would have expected my freshman year.
Yeah, I'd say my initial reaction was they have no idea what they're getting themselves into with me. Wow, boy, they made a mistake. No, but honestly, I didn't quite know what to expect in the beginning. I just knew that it was a really cool and interesting opportunity that I knew I had to be a part of. There was no way you could say no to something like this. To take a little snippet of time and put it into this big beast that it is now. It's really awesome, and it has exceeded every expectation that I had from the beginning.
My initial thoughts, I was just like, okay, how am I going to fit this into my schedule? Doing dancing with both IU Essence and African American Dance Company on top of working jobs, then classes. I'm just like, okay, how is this going to happen? How am I going to fit this in? But we made a way. We scheduled everything, talked to all the students, and we basically made it work around our own schedule for the free time that we had to cover anything they was doing, literally anything. Like literally, y'all have anything going on, we was gonna cover it. So we made it work, and it's just like it was. It's great to see it now, like fully put together. It's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, to that point, it's like there are some things that what some of us consider a mundane, but there is a story there. I think of like moments like Courtland doing laundry, or Broderick getting a bowl of cereal, Jayla, fixing your hair up. I mean, that's a snapshot in time, and that's also us, learning how to be young adults and kind of, move and navigate through this new world. And Daiyawn and Cortland, so you two were actually paired together, I think, at the start. Correct me if I'm wrong, but one thing that I think makes these stories work so well and keep its authentic taste is because of that student connection. It's not a marketer or a staff videographer going into these lives. So what did you do to kind of prepare yourselves for having a camera in the classroom or being that camera in the classroom?
I would honestly, when I didn't really do much. I would say it was different for me in the beginning because I ended up changing my major. So when I was in the athletic training program, it was kind of a different setting for me. Most of my classes were like in the clinical setting, so it was more hands-on that you all were getting B-roll film of me doing. But now, or then afterwards, it was in classroom setting. I just, I don't know. I'm not really uh, I'm not a big person like when there's like a lot of shine on me or whatever. So I was just like, okay, we're gonna knock this out each time.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think I usually did much to prepare because I think a big part of the documentary was just getting raw day-to-day footage. So I didn't want things to seem like too staged. But oftentimes I would let people know ahead of time because I feel like I got used to the filming, but a lot of times it was the people I was with are like, what's going on? Like, I don't know how to act. So a lot of times just giving them like a heads up that someone's going to be coming in and filming, just act totally normal. Just help them feel more comfortable when the cameras actually came to classes or events or something like that.
Yeah, I guess in the beginning, I was really unsure what you guys like, what the documentary would be interested in showing. I felt like everything I was doing was so repetitive. Like I was just on this schedule, on this grind, and I was like, "What? They don't want to come see this tap class that I took for 3 years again? Why? Why would they want to do that?" Um, so I guess it really came down to like, what am I doing that matters? What do I really want to showcase? And I think that was the hardest part of bringing the cameras into my life. It was, okay, if I want to showcase who I am during this time, I want to at least offer something up that has some semblance of meaning. So that was probably the most difficult part.
Well, since I was a filmmaker, it was kind of different from you guys' perspective. So with me going in, I had to literally talk to the teachers to let them know ahead of time, like, okay, I'm gonna be filming your classes and stuff and like that. No audio would be used. It's just like, just for the time being, just for the visual. And had to talk to students where it's just like, okay, guys, don't look directly into the camera. Just act natural, like act like I'm not here. So it's just like I try to be the man behind the scenes and not sing most of the time, but it's kind of like you got a camera, so everybody's always going to be, oh, he got a camera. What's he filming? What's he filming? Can I be in it? Like, what's going on? So it's kind of like you have to maneuver around a lot of obstacles while doing it. It was an experience, though.
I'll say that there is something about operating on a college campus and telling the different stories here, is that there always is a story to tell. And I remember when I was getting started, because one of the last shoots that I did for this documentary was actually with Courtland, walking along the Bill Garrett Field House as a grad student, with his mask on and everything. I think it was a really poignant, last shoot. But I remember looking back at my first shot that I did in December 2016 with Broderick, and just looking at those different shots of B-roll and how far it had come from those shots. It's like we got a lot more involved in people's lives. And sorry if we bugged you ever, but I think it's all part of telling these great stories. I'll do a couple more questions that's group oriented, and I've got some individual people questions. Was there a scene that portrayed a moment differently than what you remember in your memory? And that's kind of a weighted question, because it's like when you get into the editing room, things kind of fall differently. And I hope I don't take your answer, Broderick, but I think of the wonderful piece that Terry LeBolt performed in December of 2019 for the Cabaret. Originally, it was just some nice music, a nice salute to graduation for people. But then it had a whole new meaning to it when our editor threw it in after the wrap of Crazy for You. So I don't know if there's anyone else who's had a moment where they watched and they like, I never saw it that way when watching it. And it's okay if you don't, but.
I will say I actually didn't have a moment initially, but then after your explanation, Ethan, I thought of one. I would say for me, one in mind was with the groups. It was like the small mini segment on groups. I would say that segment for myself was the most impactful now, because was that 5 years ago? Yeah. 5 years ago, I didn't realize how impactful groups would be on me now. So just, and then seeing it in the film, like the way you guys portrayed it as well, was just crazy.
And it's funny too, that shoot was actually outside of Value 2020 series. We were doing a promotional video on Group Scholars Program when that happened. So it was just chance that we actually had footage and had you in the footage. And it was a nice little surprise for us.
So for me, I think, especially at the beginning of the project, our freshman year, I was extremely nervous. I mean, when they came to interview us and they're like, oh, just act natural, just answer the questions casually. But there was cameras, there was mics. I was extremely nervous. And I feel like the people editing the video and putting it together did such a great job, like putting it together, because you couldn't tell at all, really, for the most part, how nervous I was. And so that's why I'm like, you guys are awesome, because there's probably so much editing that had to be done in my film that was collected. I'm not sure, but I was really nervous and I felt like that wasn't portrayed. So I was happy about that. And I just give kudos to everyone who worked on the project behind the scenes.
for the record, your story was really easy to put together, and I think you don't give yourself enough credit, anyways. Broderick.
I would probably say, although Terry LeBold's song does give me the chills and the sad sweats every time I watch it, I would say probably just Crazy for You in general. The show's premise, and you guys did such a good job putting this into the documentary, but that scene where I'm like, but I have failed you. Like, we didn't sell any tickets, but that's not the point. The point wasn't putting up the show for an audience. The point of doing that show that year for me was for the experience of it, was for getting to work with all of my colleagues, for getting to grow, to work with my directors, to know that I can do it and not have to do it. It's not about what you put out. It's about everything before that. As a lot of people say, it's not about the destination. It's about the journey. So
you kind of answered one of my questions that was directed at you specifically. Was
yes.
So because I remember, well, okay, so Haley, our project manager, she commented that deep down, everyone probably had this feeling that this might be their last time together, and that no one really wanted to leave. There was just such this close camaraderie in that moment, and I remember, scrambling because I was like, we got this one chance to get it right. We got to get the shot right. I'm like thinking about these technical things about the camera and trying to set the shot. But I remember looking up above the lens and seeing all of you together, just unfazed, completely immersed in the different dance moves, in the music. So what was going through your mind when you were on that stage for the first time?
Oof. Well, yes, as you said, that was our first time on the stage. We had never been in the space before, so that was something in itself. But oh, I don't know. I guess though realistically, I was really trying to think about what was okay, like what's next, because I had spent the whole night before trying to memorize all of Act Two. We did the whole show in like 10 days. I think that was mentioned in the documentary, and so it was a lot of last minute, like, okay, drilling. We got to get this. Go over this number again. I skipped all my classes the 2 days before we put that up because I was like, who cares? Nothing matters but this show right now. And that's what we did. So I guess in that moment, I was just trying to take advantage of the time that we had because I knew I couldn't take it for granted.
Great. And Jayla, so I think we in a way, we kind of lucked out because we had the wonderful opportunity, Evelyn and I, to get to meet your wonderful family and join you for an interview just actually, I think it was almost the week before or 2 weeks before. It was close. But so you have a family full of, postgraduates of different colleges, current graduate students, your mom from the same sorority, and you're also a house divided. Got some friends or some family members up in Purdue land. So what does it mean to you to be a part of this alumni of IU? And how does that also affect your mom and your relationship with your sorority?
Yeah, I think that's an excellent question. So now that I'm an alumna of IU and being able to look back on this project, it's just so special to me to see everything that I was able to take advantage of and the way I was able to contribute to the IU community. Because I really do feel that the first couple years, like I was able to access so many different resources. There's a lot of people that poured into my own, development. So I was really glad throughout my last couple of years to be able to contribute back to that same community and to be able to hopefully make an impact on the college experience of other students, through being an RA and stuff like that. So I'm really proud to be an IU alum. I mean, I loved my experience overall. And to my family and my mom, it's just made us that much closer now that we're part of the same sorority and we can go to chapter meetings together and we can, help volunteer at the same events. And even my family that, my brother and my dad both attended Purdue, but they're actually on the call right now. So the support is always there. It's all love, even though we are a house divided. I just feel so supported and, really encouraged because of my family and the, encouragement they provided to me throughout the last 4 years. So I'm really appreciative of that.
Beautiful. And I do, so I've got 2 more questions, one for Courtland, one for Daiyawn, and then one for everyone about families. And then we'll be bringing in some questions from our audience because we've got some wonderful people participating today. So Courtland, I noticed that throughout your journey, not just in your studies, but also with your fraternity, that you consistently take on this role of a leader for many and embody this theme of excellence, of Black excellence. And so how do you feel that you fit into the idea of Black excellence? And were there any pressures that came with getting to that point of leadership in your fraternity or in student organizations?
Well, first off, thank you. I'll say yes, there's always pressures. I primarily, as I said in the video, I just always worked to exceed my own expectations and everybody else's expectations of myself. But like, my mom is a big factor in that, always pushing me to do better, be better, always helping me with just like applications and essays. So yeah, to answer your question, yes, there are always pressures and whatnot, but instead of backing down, I just welcome them.
It's the truth. You've got it. Got it going. All right. So Daiyawn, what are you looking for when you create a documentary? Because it's a very different beast from narrative, like script filmmaking. What kind of things have you discovered in your documentary productions through IU or even beyond?
What I look for, wow, to be honest, it's really like you can find a story in anything you look at. It's just a fact of how you are going to portray that story to your audience, how you create it, how you storyboard it to make it seem interesting. Because of course, like I can go and shoot a video on a store and just talk about the store, but like what about that store is interesting? What can we use to make it just like connect with the viewers or the people that shop there on a day-to-day basis? Like how can we make that connection between the two?
I think that you do accomplish this connection, the human connection between things, and I think that that's just crucial for that. So wonderful. Okay, so this was a huge coincidence that I noticed about this series tonight was the theme of dance. I'm talking to a bunch of people who all dance and all do that stuff. And I'm like, man, I am in the wrong room right now because I can't dance a whatever it is, a lick or whatever. I don't know. Give me like 3 months for like one square step. So what, we'll go back in order of appearance. So what does dancing mean to you, especially in spaces like a stage, with your Greek chapters, with friends in a theater production? What does it mean to you to dance?
I'm honestly just gonna defer because I'm not a dancer.
Don't sell yourself short. I saw you doing that. The
Well,
one.
I guess I'll give an answer. Yeah, I'll say for myself, it's a way to express ourselves, especially in Greek life, because we see it as a way of, like we're performing. So, we just performed a lot in undergrad for myself.
Yeah, I would agree with Courtland. I wouldn't consider myself a dancer either, which is why it's funny that so much of my film was me dancing. But like he said, just a form of expression. Even when I went to Brazil, I think that was part of my video, and we didn't speak the same language at all, but through dancing, we could have a good time together, teach each other new parts of each other's culture. So really just expressing oneself, and even in the sorority when we're up on stage, showing the audience what our sorority is about. Like we have characteristic like dance moves that we do, so people know it's us, the AKAs. And so I just think portraying to people different aspects of yourself in a different way. So it's a really interesting form of art, dances, even though I wouldn't consider myself a dancer.
Okay, I will say that it's really interesting that Courtland and Jayla don't consider themselves dancers, because they got dancing right on the nose. It's all about expressing yourself. And I watched both of you. Y'all are dancers. Okay, let's not sell ourselves short here. But yeah, they're absolutely right. It's all about expression. For me, it was one of the earliest forms of expression that I ever had. I started taking classes pretty young. So having that outlet, it made me who I am today. And in the theater world, we have this way of thinking about it. When we can no longer just emote with our words, we emote with singing. And when singing when it's not enough to emote, we start dancing, because we just can't contain everything that we're feeling. And now more than ever, I feel like we're feeling so many things, and especially at that time earlier this year, how can you not dance? There's just so much to express. So that's dancing. Dancing is expressing ourselves in the best way.
Dancing, wow, it's another topic. I would say dancing is basically who you are. Like Jalen and Cortland said, like even though they are not dancers, they can still do moves that express what they are, what they do, and just basically how they express themselves in that moment of dancing. It's a moment to basically not be judged and to be yourself, to just, throw around your hands if you want to, and just like express that emotion that you want to get out that you can't really do with anything else. Also, it's an exercise. It's a way to grow your, I want to say your body movements. I guess it's like it keeps you young. I'll say like it's just a way of life for me because I've been doing it for so long.
Man, I need to audit a tap class. Okay, so Elizabeth, let's go ahead and bring you back whenever you're ready, and I think we might have some great questions from our audience.
Hi, yeah, we do have some really great questions from the audience. First off, David asks, I know Jayla touched on this in the documentary, but as a 2020 college graduate myself, it was a tough time mentally knowing that I was graduating during a time that came with a lot of unknowns. What do you all find yourselves doing during quarantine to better yourselves mentally and keep motivated?
I'll say initially during quarantine, I started reading. I found time to read a lot more, like read like fiction or whatnot for fun, read a lot, and then working out. I looked at quarantine as a way to get back into my regular workout routine. So
Yeah, I think that's an excellent question. Honestly, still something I'm trying to figure out at the moment. I think just having some form of outlet is extremely important in this time where it's so easy to be pent up and in the house. So just having an outlet that you can express yourself or just have some type of release is extremely important. So over the summer, that was me going on runs, going on walks. I really love being outside. And I would just listen to a podcast or listen to some music. So that was a really good outlet for me. Now that it's cold, I'm not quite sure. I'm still trying to figure out, something I can do in lieu of that. But just like talking to friends, staying in contact with my social network has been extremely important as well.
Yeah, I would have to say that trying to find something that gets you motivated, something that gets you doing anything is better than nothing. But let me tell you, David, it's okay to just do nothing sometimes, especially there in the beginning when it felt like the world was crumbling around us. I felt like I was alone, but also just losing my mind because I felt like I wasn't doing everything that I was striving to do for 4 years. It all came to a grinding halt. So it's okay to feel a little ambivalent because none of us really know exactly what we're doing. So do your best. You don't put your blinders on. Don't focus on what everyone else is doing. Just be the best you. Do what you can that makes you feel like you are fulfilled. That's what I would say.
I took this time to basically learn new skills and to perfect the ones that I have as well. Using Photoshop, Adobe Premiere Pro, I just try to make sure I know like the ins and out of all the programs so that I can literally do whatever I want for any client that comes my way. So yeah, just learning a new skill for me.
Great. And also, as a follow-up question, Jennifer actually asked, Courtland, what books do you recommend? And Jayla, what podcasts do you recommend?
I laugh because I actually have my books right next to me in my desk. I'll go with Sophie's World, A History of Philosophy. It's a pretty good book. It's actually a book I got from class, so I'm surprised I liked it. And then one more book since they're right next to me. This Things Fall Apart by Chinua Achebe. It's one of my favorite books ever.
So for me, the first podcast that comes to mind is the Michelle Obama podcast. I think there was like only 7 or 8, but it was just so inspiring. She talks a lot about how to be an active citizen and engage in your local community. So a lot of times when we think of change, we think of wide scale, what can I do to make this huge impact? When a lot of times you can make change just by doing small things in your community and with the people that you know. So I thought that was really inspiring. That was one of my favorite podcasts that I've checked out so far.
Great. Those are great recommendations, and I will also add them to my list. Next question, Angela asks, students, did you ever have moments when you regretted participating in the project? Did it ever feel too intrusive or overwhelming?
No, I honestly, like throughout all 4 years, it was easy for me scheduling times with my different videographers and interns who I worked with, whatever. It was enjoyable for me, and especially when they were able to do things for us, like take us to basketball games. It was nice.
So for me, I don't think there's a time I necessarily regretted it. It was interesting when they asked to come and film my morning routine because honestly, in the morning, I look a mess. I remember at the beginning, I was like brushing my teeth, but I didn't mind. It was I never had someone like asked to film that. So it was interesting, but I didn't think it was too intrusive. I wouldn't have agreed to do anything that I thought was too intrusive. I think it was probably more strange for people around me that didn't quite know what was going on. They're like, why are you being filmed right now? Like, this is kind of strange. But for me, there was never a moment that I regretted it. I'm really appreciative for this experience.
Yeah, I would say that I never once thought that this project was too intrusive in any way because we knew what we were signing up for. Overwhelming? Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're pretty active students, as you guys watched. So having busy schedules, it could be difficult sometimes to figure out, okay, when can I have videographers here? Oh, when is it appropriate to have someone filming? And then on that note, who wants to be filmed? I know many times I had to like get a waiver from all of my friends, like they're okay with being in this documentary. So overwhelming, sure. Worth it, 100%.
Sorry I blew up your phone before that one Dames at Sea performance. Sorry.
Ethan, you can blow up my phone anytime.
It looked great.
Okay, the next question is, as you look back on your 4 years at IU, is there anything that you would do differently? Do you feel like you accomplished all that you wanted to?
I actually get asked this question a lot. I feel like there's always going to be something you wish you did differently in your life in the past. Um, but overall, I don't regret anything. I mean, my past 4 years were fulfilling. I wouldn't say that I got to do everything I wanted to do, but overall, I enjoyed it. I don't even think the documentary covered everything that I was able to do, but it was still fulfilling undergrad experience. So
Yeah, I would basically agree with that statement, especially now that I'm applying to medical school. It's so easy to look back and see what other people have done and be like, wow, I could have done that, I could have done this. But really just staying true to your personal experience. I mean, you can't go back and change it now, and it's made you who you are today. I think, if anything, my mindset at the beginning of college is what I wish I could have gone back and changed, because I think I was so set upon a certain path. And when that certain path doesn't happen, it's easy to get discouraged. So I would just tell myself to go to college with an open mind and be very flexible, because the path to get to a certain point isn't always linear.
Are there things I would do differently? Yeah, for sure. Who doesn't make mistakes in college? Am I right? Um, do I regret making those mistakes? Absolutely. Would I take them back? No, I wouldn't, because every mistake just builds us into the people that we are today. And if college taught me anything, it's to appreciate the person I'm becoming. So, did I feel like I accomplished everything that I wanted to? Not necessarily, but on the flip side of that coin, yeah, I did. Everything that I went into college wanting to do, I did end up doing in some way, and then many times even more than that. So I regret nothing.
Okay, so this one is specifically for Broderick. Vicky asks, in your theater journey, what was your favorite production at IU, and what role would you love to play once theater is back?
My favorite role at IU would probably, had it been seen, probably would have been Bobby Child. Even though it wasn't seen, it was still Bobby Child and Crazy for You. That role, there's just something about it that I really hope to do it one day in the future. But something about that role that I just connect to on a level that I haven't connected to with any character in the past. So yeah, loved that role. Sorry no one else got to really see it, but glad you guys got to see it in the documentary. Once theater opens back up, oh my goodness, I would absolutely love to play Fiyero in Wicked. Totally a dream role of mine. Love the show, love the role. It's got everything.
Great. Next, Seth asks, I imagine throughout 4 years of filming, you must have had so many funny moments. What moment in this process made you laugh the most?
I honestly don't know which would be the one that made me laugh the most, but rewatching it, I would say any of the scenes with me and my friend Zaya, just because that's one of my oldest friends, and we've always had a goofy relationship, friendship. So just rewatching that and hearing old jokes, it did it for me.
Yeah, I would agree. I think the funniest moment was filming with my line sister, Fair and Me, just because it was a much more relaxed vibe when she was there during the interview, and we have a very casual, funny relationship. So having her there was just hilarious. Some of the questions, obviously, they edited them out, but we did not answer them so well. So that was definitely a good time.
Yeah, I would say the funniest moment is probably looking back at that, like similar to what Jayla said, looking back at the interview with my friend Casey. Um, my God, we were so weird in front of that camera. You would think that as performers, we would have a semblance of knowledge on how to behave in front of people watching you, but we simply did not. I know maybe it didn't seem like it, it does to us. We were so nervous and just weird. But now I look back and I laugh. So.
Yeah, I would definitely say all the things that were not put in to the documentary are all the funny moments, like the bloopers, the parts where they'd be like, okay, can I start it over? No, cut that out. Don't say that. Or just like all the things that just like were just cut out, or all the funny parts. It's hilarious. The behind the scenes are just hilarious.
I will say probably one of the funniest moments for me was actually at the Broderick and Casey interview, where we were doing the slate to sync up the sound. And I think it was Casey ran for the futon and then jumped onto it. And Broderick was already sitting on it and just crashed into it. And there was like those two pictures that were leaning on the back of the futon just came crashing onto Broderick. He screamed, and the microphone clipped and everything, and we had to cut to reset. But that was good.
Let me tell you about it.
Oh yeah.
She is still running and jumping all over the place. She'll crash pictures down all over the place. Don't even worry. She'll do it tomorrow.
Like a cat at 2 a.m. But
Yes.
there is a blooper reel on the IU Bloomington YouTube channel if you want to check that out. Don't worry, y'all are great people and do a good job in it.
Okay, it looks like we have time for 2 more questions. So next, Vicky says, the documentary was great. Has there been any thought to following up on the subjects in later years as you continue on your paths?
They took my question. That's so great. I'm so glad people work on the same brainwave. Yeah, so, maybe we might consider that someday. I'm not sure, 5 year, 10 years down the road. But would everyone be comfortable if a documentary crew just mosey on back into your life one day? Would you say yes, or would you say bye?
Obviously, my fault. I guess I honestly can't speak on my position in a few years, but sure.
I would say yes. I don't know where I'm going to be because I'm applying to medical schools like all over the country. But if the film crew is willing to travel, I think that'd be so cool.
Yeah, come on. I mean, with the pandemic, I feel like this whole thing was such a cliffhanger. We don't know what any of us really did afterwards. Come on, we need a proper ending. Okay, bring it on. 2024, here we come.
We'll
Pack up the cameras. Yeah, get them all over here.
Okay, and Daiyawn, do you have something?
Oh, I don't know. Like, if you guys want to put me on the crew, I'm definitely down to help out. So whatever happens, I'm down.
Well, it sounds like we have the whole team back together, so look forward to that in 4+ years. And our final question, someone asked, when your hypothetical future grandchildren watch this project, what would you want them to take most from it as a lesson? Also, congrats to everyone.
I'll say specifically to my story, the one thing they could take from the lesson is your story isn't written in a stone. Because if you pay attention from when I was a freshman to when I was a senior, it was you couldn't have predicted that at all, almost, like what the path I was going to go down. Me change my major and whatnot. So yeah.
If I could tell my future grandkids something, it would be, wow, and of course I just lost my train of thought. I think it was something along the lines of college is a time to explore like varying interests that you may have. So even if you know you want to pursue a certain career path, like for me, I took a piano class, I studied abroad. So really make the most of the opportunities that are available to you. This is your time. And yeah, just be very open and flexible. And you never know what you may enjoy that may surprise you that you never would have guessed. So make the most out of this experience in college. I already miss it, and I've been out of college for like 6 months now. So just make the most of that time.
Yeah, I would probably say go in with the plan, but don't let it throw you when things don't go according to that plan, because life's going to throw you so many curveballs, grandchildren. Let me tell you, you don't even know. But in a more concise way, I will say, in the wise words of Terry the Bolt, as you heard in the documentary, every challenge really is an opportunity. So take every challenge by the horns and just tackle it. Just do the thing, because you won't regret it.
Great. So that's all the questions I have for you tonight. Ethan, do you have any final questions, or any of the panelists, do you have any final comments before we wrap things up?
Yeah, I wanted to give everyone a chance to give a shout out to anyone if you've got anything last you'd like to say. Oh, and also I'd like to send a happy birthday to Lauren Robel. This is her birthday today, so I think it's a very nice thing that we can get to have this program and also celebrate her birthday. So I just I'll let everyone go. Yeah, see what if this is time for a shout out.
Okay, well, I just want to thank Ethan again, as well as everybody who's on the team, Daiyawn, Isabel, everybody, especially that worked with me. Thanks for being patient. Then shout out to my family, my mom, Vicky Bonds, stepfather, Rodney Bonds, father, Scott Crenshaw, and everybody to help support me.
Hi, everyone. I just want to say thank you all for being here tonight, watching our story. Thank you to IU Cinema for hosting us, and Ethan and the rest of the filmmaker team for putting our stories together, and all the work that you guys did, because I know it was probably a lot. So I hope you enjoyed this project as much as I did. Thank you to my family who's on the call for always supporting me and letting me move back home while I apply to medical school. So shout out to you. Love you all, and thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Shout out to the team who made all of this happen, because without you, we would not be here, and none of this would have been possible. Especially you, Ethan. Thank you for blowing up my phone when I was the worst at responding. Truly wouldn't have been in that documentary without you. Obviously, my family, my professors, all of whom I love and I have so much gratitude for helping me grow into the person that I am now. And obviously my fellow colleagues in the class of 2020, love ya.
First, I want to definitely give a big shout out to Ethan for reaching out to me to actually have me be on this panel today. Definitely surprised. Was not expecting this at all. And Jennifer, Candace, they're the one that got me onto this project, and it was just amazing. And shout out to all the students that we highlighted. You guys were amazing. You guys are your talents, everything that you've done, the fact that you made it the whole 4 years, and you get to look back and say, like, I did it. And now you have a visual representation of that. So shout out to you guys.
Courtland, Jayla, Broderick, Daiyawn, it's been such an honor getting to discuss this all with you. It's always a nice day when I get to see you log in. And I just want you to know that you are appreciated. You are celebrated. The Office of the Provost is going to miss working with you. And the contributions that you've made to the legacy of IU is immeasurable. And I just wanted to feel free to, use this documentary to apply for jobs. I think this is a great, kind of leading intro paragraph to your applications. And I'll even write a rec letter for y'all. I will do whatever you need. Just give me a call.
Well, thank you, Ethan, Courtland, Jayla, Broderick, and Daiyawn, for a wonderful discussion this evening. And a special thanks to Courtland, Jayla, and Broderick for allowing your IU journeys to be captured on film and shared with us. Thanks to Provost Lauren Bell, Jennifer Purick, Cadence Bachang, and everyone at the IU Office of Provost and Executive Vice President. I'd also like to thank the entire IU Cinema team, particularly Brittany, Jessica, Seth, Elena, Ava, and David, who have all worked behind the scenes to help make this event possible. We encourage you to visit our website at cinema.indiana.edu to see our interactive virtual events and curated streaming offerings. And join us again for our penultimate virtual event of this semester this Friday, December 11th at 7 p.m., when we will have our Ken and Florence Jacobs Jorgensen guest filmmaker conversation and Q&A, which was rescheduled from this past spring. To all of you who tuned in tonight, thank you once again for being with us. Be well and be kind to yourselves and others. Have a great night.